Hi there. So today, this video, I can honestly say I really didn't want to make it. However, I feel like I need to talk about this, much like a collective form of group therapy or an exorcism. I feel like I have to talk about it. So without any further ado, let's get into it, guys. I need to talk to you about the worst photography workshop I ever attended. First, full disclosure, I'm a big fan of photography workshops. They're generally fantastic for your portfolio, you get to meet other awesome creatives, and they're very, very healthy experiences. However, last year I had a very, very unhealthy experience with some organisers, and I'm going to tell you about that right now. So last year I signed up to a photography workshop. For those that don't know, photography workshops are where you sign up and an organiser will book a venue, book a couple, book decor, dresses, flowers, all of that sort of jazz, and you go along as a photographer, and it is essentially a styled shoot. It's a bit of a fake wedding, but it still gives you as a creative loads of space to stretch your legs and flex your creative muscles. Generally, I have done quite a lot of photography workshops over the years, hosting and attending, and I've always had great times with them. Always. They're fantastic for building your portfolio and fantastic for trying new things that you wouldn't necessarily try with a full paying client. But this workshop was one that I signed up for last minute. I found them on Instagram. A few other creatives that I'm aware of had worked with them, and I thought, well, we'll have a go. I'd seen that there was a spot left for a workshop the following week, so I signed up to it. And I'll be honest, alarm bells should have been ringing straight away. Their initial inception and chatting with them was fairly unprofessional. Low on detail, high on what they would consider banter, I'd imagine. But anyway, alarm bells should have been ringing, but I thought, no problem. I'm gonna roll with this one. So I get to the shoot, day of the shoot, rock up, there's about 10 to 12 photographers there, as is usual. It's a little farm barn, lovely venue, looks fantastic. The couple, fantastic. Everything about it, fantastic. I thought, this is going to be rock and roll. Unfortunately, what happened, there seemed to me to be very little oversight. As soon as we start shooting the set pieces, there's 10 to 12 photographers, everyone's elbow to elbow, getting in front of each other, pushing and shoving, which is what workshops are unfortunately known for. There's the problem with them. Everybody signs up and everybody wants to charge at the couple, and everybody ends up with portfolios that are all the same flipping photos because they're literally side by side. You're trying to create something and you've got a camera lens there, We're all going to end up with the same flipping photo. And I'll be brutally honest, after about 30 seconds of that bullshit, I just turned around and walked out. I couldn't deal with it. It was just absolute nonsense. My anxiety was so high. I ended up kind of going back in and scooting around the sides of the rooms looking for these different angles, but every time I walked in there'd be someone stepping in front of me, stepping behind me, nudging me, like lenses getting in the way, and it's just utter nonsense. I mean, can you tell that I'm really disappointed with it? Don't get me wrong, I got some beautiful photos, absolutely lovely photos, but a photo like this is absolutely beautiful. But here's the original. As you can see, there's just people walking in front of the camera with like no respect shown for what you're trying to create. Like, what's the point of going to these things if you're going to be pushed and shoved and have no time to create your own work? I don't really want a portfolio full of images that look the same as 11 other photographers. That's just not interesting to me as a photographer. So yeah, I got some lovely images like this, for example. But mostly I came away from the experience really frustrated. But it was after the shoot where shit really hit the fan for me. So I'd signed up to this workshop because it was beginning part of last year and we weren't shooting weddings because in this country we're in a lockdown. Weddings were few and far between, and I had a couple of months before my first wedding, and I'd not really shot any weddings for about 4 months previously. So I needed some content for blogs, for magazines, to send out to people. I needed fresh content, which is the reason I signed up for the workshop. So after the wedding, I get in touch with the organisers. I'm like, hey, can you send me all the details of the florist, backdrop, blah, 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 dress? Because I want to include them with full transparency when I send this work out to wedding blogs, wedding magazines. And the wedding organisers came back and said to me, hell no. That's right, no. They said in no uncertain terms that I could not use the photography to reach out to magazines and to wedding blogs. I could only use it on my personal website or on my personal blog. Unfortunately, it turns out that the reason they adopted this attitude was because they wanted to send the work out to wedding blogs and wedding magazines. So not only were they charging us to go to create these pieces, they were then using our money, it seems, to fund the workshops to then further their own careers, which seemed to me like quite a conflict of interest. And when I raised it with them that I felt it was quite unfair, they got really pissy, really moody, and just got really precious about everything. Instead of dealing with it in a professional way, yeah, they seemed to get really moody and just generally difficult. So in the end, I just fucked it off. And I just thought, I really cannot be bothered with this, which is such a shame because I love photography workshops. I want to give a big shout out to 2 workshops who are totally ethical and I think are absolutely awesome. The first is the Way Up North crew and their roadie workshops. These are brilliant. I've done a number of these. I've been very heavily involved with Way Up North for years, as a lot of you will know. And I'm not just saying this because I'm part of their little entourage. They're kick-ass, they're great people, big shout out to them and they're awesome. If you sign up for a roadie, you will not be disappointed. And the other person I'd like to give a big shout out to is Rebecca Carpenter and her Lark workshops. The Lark workshops are absolutely fantastic. I've done one of them myself, absolutely brilliant. So there you have it, that's my story. A story of a wedding workshop that was poorly run, poorly executed, shitty attitudes, very little oversight. I came away being disappointed. I can't help but think, was it me? Did I expect too much? I'm not sure. I mean, you know, they seem to be quite popular with photographers, but surely I can't be the only one that thinks this is a shitty way to treat people. Maybe I am, who knows? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. That's my shitty story. Maybe you've got one too. Tell me about it. See you soon.